So,
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to excuse me.
Now, it may get bigger, it may get a little bigger, it may not get bigger at all. We'll see what happens. But regardless of what happens, we're totally prepared.
This is your victory. Now, I know you didn't do this just to win an election. I know you didn't do it for me. You did it because you understand the enormity of the task that lies ahead.
You're not going to believe this. He killed 16 Czechoslovakians. Guy was an interior decorator. His house looked like shit.
Give me a hell yeah. I said, give me a hell yeah.
I said, give me a hell yeah. Don't stop watching if you're looking at the set and you're going, man, did I actually click on an old episode? Is this
not old?
The old middle of the road? Is this, did they just trick me? Nope, we just switched the set back kind of differently. TJ's with me too, so I know that's why you're thinking maybe we're back in the past, but
it's the past.
It's a Sunday morning. We're sitting out here in the studio, and we're going to try to bring you a little bit of Sunday entertainment, other than the one that God's already bringing you. You know, we're not trying to step on God time. We're just trying to get those who aren't
skip church today.
You know, or maybe a little early before. You know, maybe you do that later church, and
maybe
you just
they went on Saturday.
You want to get something that you really need to go pray about. Well, we'd like to be that for you. What have you been up to, TJ?
Let's see. I got back yesterday. I got back. Yeah, I've been home for a couple days.
You got home Friday or Thursday, or you don't even know when anymore.
I can't remember. Yeah.
I have two guesses where you just recently came back from. I'm going to see which one's more accurate and which one's more believable. TJ's back from the Texas Panhandle where he was saving a wheelchaired governor from the fires.
No. You got partially correct.
TJ is back from the Texas Panhandle after his first week on the road again.
That's correct. Yeah.
Full time, like working, because the week before you were training.
Yeah, so technically, start of the week, I was in middle of Oklahoma, like over there by Chandler.
Well, you tell them just because the way you do
Davenport.
Yeah, Davenport. Yeah, I've heard of that.
I was staying in Chandler.
I've heard of Chandler too. That same place that was in Davenport the very first time they ever opened was in Chandler. The opening day was in Chandler at a little gas station, and
I saw something like that when I was there.
Okay.
Then we moved into the Panhandle the day after the fires started.
Okay. Were you guys the one that started them?
No, we were there.
Do you guys have anything to do with putting out fires? Would fires help your business?
Fires would not help our business. I don't think so. I did
make it easy to get to the natural gas pipes. You know.
Yeah. I mean, they're underground. I've saw some things I never thought I'd ever see in my life before.
Real quick to start the show, would you like a Bob Ross mint?
No, thanks. I don't think it conflict with my sponsor of the show today, Accelerator Rocket Pop Energy Drug. You drink this, and you can also have sex with Taylor Swift, just like Travis Kelce.
Okay, well, that interferes with our other sponsor.
Oh, that's just my sponsor.
The New Old Church of God's Pursuit of Christ is the Sunday sponsor for today's show. It's a new church I'll be kicking off.
Okay.
Just trying to get more listeners, more followers, and more people closer to God.
You got to do what you got to do. But anyways, yes, we were working 100 miles north of Pampa, where our first site was that we were working.
Are you saying Pampa?
Pampa, P-A-M-P-A, Pampa, Texas.
Okay.
Right south of a town called Higgins, which is just right across the border if you're coming from east to west into Texas.
Okay.
So we were working there.
A lot of people that have been to Nowhere, Texas know exactly what you're talking about. Everybody else is saying.
Well, when I say Pampa, Texas,
everybody still thinks you're trying to say Tampa and you don't know how to say it.
P-A-M-P-A. It's just north of Borger. Everybody knows that.
Do you think maybe they didn't know how to spell it?
No.
Okay.
It's P with a P.
All right.
So anyways, you could see all the fire stuff. You could see all the smoke and stuff. And then as soon as we started going south towards the town of Canadian, not Canada, Canadian.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Again,
that's also north of Pampa. That's when you started seeing the fires. Like,
I need you to stop saying Pampa.
Well,
it's hard to say. Just say Tampa with a P.
But everybody who knows Texas knows that.
I'm just playing.
All of our text listeners will know.
That's true.
But anyways, as soon as we got, we were heading south to go back to the hotels. It's fucking crazy, man. Like, as far as you could see, and out there it's sandy. Like, it depended on how much grass and stuff was out.
Yeah, how
in
do
these
they have
pastures,
wildfires out there?
because it's just fucking drier than anything.
And so
you've seen.
wind, they
Yeah.
just catch
In the
anything,
wind,
and
yeah.
then anything that's brittle
Yeah,
will catch fire.
It was over like even like those I can't fucking think of what they're called. They're like spiky. It's not like a cactus, but it's something like a yucca plant, I think is what it is. They
Okay.
were even burned up.
All right, and they usually, I think, store water.
Yeah, so if it was pretty sparse, where the fire moved through, you could just see sand. It would look like Winoka almost.
All
Even
right.
though it would, but with the
Anything's-
grass on there, it didn't look like it. But then where there wasn't, it was just where it was thick grass. You know, like we have places in Kansas that kind of have roaming grass like that. But it was bad. And then I saw so many fucking dead cows. Like a lot of them were
Did you
up.
see like people eating on them or anything? Because would
No.
it cook them? And probably not long enough
I
to
think
cook them
most of them
properly.
probably just died of like smoke
Smoke.
inhalation.
That
Some
sucks.
of the guys said they saw some cows like
Prayers to you, cows. You know.
burned up like in trailers and shit moving
Oh,
them
dude,
off.
if we were in like India and that was happening,
Oh, yeah.
oh, dude,
Yeah.
that'd be like people be freaking out because that's your loved ones are going.
Yeah, your gods, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but yeah. So, I mean, they would be up against a fence, and then they would just get there, and there'd be nowhere for them to go, I guess.
Okay, well, you didn't have. You could have. You could have skipped all that part.
Well, I mean, that's just
It's
the ones.
Sunday morning, and we got a couple people listening, and
Well, those
two
are
of
just
them
the
just
one-
ran away with
Those
you.
are just the ones I saw. Like I did. Yes, when on my way home,
I didn't
did
hear
see
anything
more like
about like
out in
what
the pasture and stuff.
and I don't know if there was any, but I haven't heard anything about like
Two people.
Okay, two people.
Yeah, and what else was I gonna say? I would imagine every little ground animal out there probably got killed too. Like every rabbit, hopefully every snake
What?
out there got killed.
Why you got to start so dark this morning, man?
Well, you asked what I've been doing. That's
Well,
what I've been doing.
but you haven't been doing that. You could have just said it was tragic, and I'm sure a lot of loss of animal life, and then moved on.
I haven't even said the worst part.
Well, what's the worst part? Let's just get it
worst
out
part
because
was-
get everybody out of here, and then maybe we can recycle some people back in.
The worst part was seeing like moms and babies cows like next to each other.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it was just all horrible. There's no good things. So we're gonna skip right
So that's
over.
it.
We're
Yeah.
gonna skip right over your shitty part too.
Oh, I can tell you one more thing. I've
if
already
it's
got my
fucking
truck
bad,
stuck.
I'm gonna. Okay.
I've already got my truck stuck.
Well, yeah, you got a freaking two-wheel drive.
No, it's not two-wheel drive.
Two-wheel drive grandpa truck, bro.
It's four-wheel drive. It's got air ride, and I had it lifted all the way up. But one of the crew trucks that went through we were driving through a creek.
Okay.
Went through and fucking just ate it up even more, and
Did you
I just
bottom
couldn't
out?
get out. No, because I can lift it up to 2.5 inches of height. But yeah, I already got it stuck. So
You got good tow hooks. They just pulled you out.
yeah, one of the guy that went through in front of me.
Pulled you out. He's like, my truck did
Well,
get stuck.
he pulled out the crew truck, and then no, they pulled out the crew truck, and then the crew truck went through. And then the superintendent went through. He made it. He had a truck like my last one, and then he just barely pulled me out. I just basically idled out. So.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, the reason we're doing a show Sunday is because me and Skinman were scheduled to do one Tuesday. You were going to do one from parking lot in Davenport as you happened to be driving through, and that fell apart. Skinman had basically just prior commitments. I don't know what that one is. He just said, "Hey, can we do it Wednesday? It'd be better for me." And I said, "Hell yeah, let's do it Wednesday." And Wednesday about 4:45, I get a text, and he says, "Hey, got an opportunity to go play Top Golf with the owner of the establishment he works at."
Okay.
And I figured they were probably going to let him go. Between the hand injury, all the joking around he does, messing with people, the little checking people's oil just constantly, Apparently they like it, so the owner invited him out for some Top Golf.
Sweet.
And he said, let's do it Friday. And I said, you know what? That'd actually be cool because I happen to have date night with E on Friday. I'll bet we could at least call TJ, or me and you were actually going to record a segment.
Mm-hmm.
Your week kind of got busy. You're on the road. We didn't do that. So Thursday night, I'm dozing off, took too much medicine. and I get a call. Hey, man, my wife and one of my daughters has to go up to Kansas City on Friday. My other one's going out. There's nobody to watch the dogs. I can't do the show Friday.
Okay.
And I said, dude, I completely understand. I get it. Somebody needs to be there to watch your 3-year-old labs, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And he said, no, man. He's like, man, you think you're mad? I'm mad about it. And I said, oh, it's all good. And of course I'm dozing off. And I think he thinks I am mad. I was more. The reason was a little unique for me, but I have a dying dog at home, and I could use the excuse that, but I still don't. I disappear and leave him, leave him here because it's a dying dog. I can't do a lot for it. No. But yeah, so he blew me off 3 times. I believe him. They're all true. I'm not mad at him, and it worked out good that you called and said you want to do a show.
Yeah, there we go.
So it sounded like I was mad there for, I think, a minute of that, but I'm really not. No.
That's good.
What am I excited about? Our new series, the Middle of the Road TV Series Club. And you already have a show picked out for it. It's basically started because all these podcasts that are doing, I don't know, that aren't anybody famous that are doing good are a genre podcast or a topic-specific podcast. It's, all the ones you watch, and all the series we liked had one, and they do it with the famous people, but there's some spin-off of just TV shows or wedding ones or whatever.
So are we just going to try to do like one a week or like one episode a week?
Something like that, or we'll that's where I'm trying to debate is with some of these, if we did them, it would almost be better to do a season or a part of a season, or maybe we do it every 2 weeks and we do a season, because I thought about picking old shows and then you went straight into a brand new show.
No, it's been out since 19.
Okay, so we could, how many seasons is
4.
this new show? 4?
Well, 3. The 4th season hasn't come out.
Because, see, that would be my thing is I don't know that we want
10 episodes.
what I thought would be if we did seasons, but that would be, then you'd have to binge watch depending on how we set it up. But then it would make it like a 4-part series.
I guess we could start with one at a time, and then maybe like we'll go, okay, next show we'll have 2 or 3 watch.
Yeah, that's what I think we'd have to do, something like that. So what's the show you're wanting?
And it's just because I saw it like on a clip, and I thought it would be kind of up both of our alleys. It's called The Godfather of Harlem.
Okay.
The main character is Forrest Whitaker in it.
Well, and
it's set in like the 60s.
One of the things I thought about, which would us finding a series maybe we both had already watched for our first one and going back and doing it on that because it would be easier for us.
Yeah.
But most of the ones we've both already watched or were already had a big run on them. So I think it would be cool to do something new too. So
cool.
That's something coming down the road. It might be just a 30-minute thing while TJ's on the road, a way to keep us doing them if he can't make the weekly one. I still sound like shit, and I'm sorry. I've been sick all freaking week. I can't kick and probably sitting around a couple days a week with people smoking out here hasn't helped. But
I've had the allergies real bad, but being around all that smoke and shit hasn't helped. But I just keep on taking the allergy
man, I had
pills.
coughs and sniffles and blowing my nose and that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Started feeling better, but it's just been can't get the freaking the craps out of me. So I seen one of the worst and funniest ads I've ever seen. I was just rolling through, like in the morning, we have this home page on our computer system.
At work?
Yeah. So every time you open up like your email or...
Stevie V says grow up and smoke like a man.
No, not me. Well, I don't smoke. The people around me smoke. And maybe eventually I'm going to have that deep, raspy voice.
I've wondered, like,
I wonder if that's part of where Stevie gets his deep, sexy, raspy voice.
You ever go back and you like listen to we'll just say a movie star or even a singer like Billy Joel? His, you listen to him sing back in the 80s. He had like a nice, like kind of like it was a upper, however you'd say it. But now if you hear him talk, his voice is deep as fuck.
Yeah, and he smokes a lot, or
I guess I don't know. I'm wondering how I could make my voice instead of sounding like a pussy voice, like a more of a man voice.
I don't know.
I
don't know what you'd have to
Here's
do.
another one, Josh Brolin. Like, if you watch him from the Goonies, even though he was like 16 or 17, and then some of his later movies, but now his voice is deep as fuck.
Well, that might be a like coach thing. They have like voice coaches, and he's just like, man, I want I want to sound deeper and I want to be more professional sounding
There's
when
probably
I talk.
a way. We need to Google it, and then we need. I
know one
Google
way,
it
and it's
time.
literally smoke cigarettes. A pack a day will.
I wonder if like vaping would do it too, because like
It did me a little. I mean, my years of doing some of that, I believe, are a lot of why my voice, and mine's not that deep, like good one like that, but that's why mine is messed up at least, and it's on the way there.
what was that? He's that famous actor. He was like gay back in the day, like way back, like, and nobody ever talked about it.
Brock Hudson.
Yes.
Okay.
So there was.
That was a good pull.
That was a good pull. So
I know my gay old time actors.
So there was a show on HBO Max about that time period. It had the dude from fucking Big Bang, the dork. What's his name?
every
Sheldon
dude.
was on it.
Okay, I was gonna say every dude from that
Yeah.
show was a
Well,
big
anyways,
dork. That was kind of the point.
He's like the
Don't ever describe that show to somebody that way again and expect them to know who you're talking.
The tall dork. There
Okay,
you
that
go.
would help.
So he was like the producer, or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, Brock Hudson, we're gonna send you up into the mountains. We need to deepen your voice up a little bit. We'll send you up to the mountains and make you fucking scream and shit like that until you lose your voice, and then keep doing it, and supposedly it'll make your voice deeper. But I don't know if that'll work or not.
See, that's what worries me about like me getting throat cancer or something like that. It's because if I go to a concert or go to do anything, I have a week of like I can be screaming at a ball game for 30 minutes or an hour and lose my voice. And I know people that could do it for 4 days straight.
You can get throat cancer from like going down on chicks too. That's what Howard Stern said.
Well, and I've heard that, and
Hey,
so
Steve.
that's one of the main reasons I don't go down on
Yeah.
guys or girls.
Yeah.
I've heard on
No,
girls
you're
it
fine
can
with
help.
The dudes. You're fine with the dudes.
Well, thank you. Well, then never mind. Then that's the reason I go back to. Oh no, yeah, I chose mouth, you chose butt. That's right. Okay.
There you go.
Is
Back
it
to
too?
what you're talking about.
The
Always.
most horrible ad I have seen lately, but also made me chuckle more than anything, was from it was a photo, like one of those online companies that brings your old photos back to life.
And like somebody's dead grandpa, and he was like.
No, in this
smiling.
one it said bring color back to your photos, to your black and white photos, and they happen to use
Black dude?
colored people for
Okay.
this ad, but it said bring color to your old photos, and it was just I don't know if it could have been any more pointed. Like if there had to be an inside joke where they knew that there was going to be a douchebag from Kansas.
I don't see color like you do, so I don't know. I wouldn't think that way.
Well, it's like if they brought that back to color, we know what color
I mean, it's pretty obvious that Samuel L. Jackson's a
is
black
black
guy.
in the Pulp Fiction black and white
Just
one.
because his hair is curly. That's the only reason why I'd even notice that.
Okay, but
Speaking, I gotta tell you something too. So I started watching
so
this show.
is that
called-
another that makes me racist thing?
Nah.
I was gonna say I thought
mean,
it was
I mean, it's kind
the
of
fact that I
pointed that way.
yeah. It seemed like they were trying to get a chuckle out of some dude in Kansas,
Yeah,
and it worked.
it worked. So I've been
I wrote it down.
trying to find different shows to watch, and there's this one that's popped up on Netflix. It may have been on there for a while. It's called I'm Resident Alien or something like that.
Yeah, I've seen the thing for that, and The Tourist are two that they
Yeah.
just keep freaking trying to shove down my
So
throat.
I just started it, and I'm only 2 episodes in, but so he's like an alien inside of this regular guy. He's a doctor's body, and the sheriff shows up at his house, and he's a black guy, and he goes, "They call me Big Black. Do you know why they call me Big Black?" And since he doesn't know anybody, he goes, "'Cause you drive a black truck?" And he goes, "No." but like, it's like that if you put something here that wouldn't think that way, like he would never say that.
Yeah.
It's just kind of funny. 'cause
Was he
he's
a big black person?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he said, "Because you drive a black truck," and then the cop was like pissed off looking at him like, "Hey, motherfucker,
Why would you think? Yeah.
Yeah, why would you think that?" So
All
kind of
right.
funny.
Well, that would be like, somebody truly raised, like that's how,
Without seeing something like that.
or, just doesn't identify that way or has never been around somebody that points that out. But the problem is, even today, if you're raised by a family that like, don't one side or the other, there's not a push toward super equal equality. It's not a push toward, don't like them. It is truly, we just see them all the same. TV, everything else makes you see color.
Especially now. Yeah.
Yeah, it puts not the news, the media, everything makes you think you have to be anti-racist if you've never even thought about being racist.
Yeah, it's like, hold on.
Hold on a second. Can I not just be? So sorry, that was I don't know where that came from. I do want to come up with, and we've been doing it anyway, but I called it a new segment, but it's our version of food news. We'll just call it What You Eatin', and something new every week we ate, or we'll make somebody, you know, like I've really been trying a bunch of different stuff. I went to Rib Crib and had wings from Rib Crib, and I know it's not different stuff, but it's
like barbecue chicken,
but it was not good.
Not good?
No, I got dry rub ones, and they weren't cooked the great. I mean, I'd much rather have got like Pizza Hut wings.
Pizza Hut wings are good.
I know they are, you know, but they're you would expect Rib Crib. I guess maybe you wouldn't, because that's not what they, you know, but they do barbecue chicken and all that shit. So
okay,
you got anything?
Yes. Before we get, have you ever mistaken someone's age so badly that you had to make them show your ID to prove it? Young or old?
I don't know that. I mean, I've guessed wrong and somebody has corrected me, and I haven't said bullshit. You know, yes, I haven't made them, but I've kind of looked at one guy so weird that he actually pulled his out and put it down in front of me to show me.
So one of the guys I was
and it was me guessing he was way older than he actually was.
So mine was opposite. This guy I'm working with, we were talking, and I would assume that he was older than me, probably like within, 8 years older than me, because he had gray through his beard, gray hair, kind of like a bigger guy. What was that?
You have gray through your beard and kind of gray through your hair.
I know, but I'm 41.
Okay.
This guy, I go, well, how old are you? He goes, I'm 31. I said, the fuck you are. Let me see your
Does
fucking
his face even look like kind of haggard or older? Or are you going purely off of color of hair?
Just
because today that's harder, because these young kids are getting gray way quicker.
Well, obviously, he says, I'm 31. I go, what year? I didn't even go math real quick. He said, I was born in 92. I said, no fucking way. Said, let me see your driver's license. He pulls it out, shows me his driver's license, born in 1992. Oh, you know how it started? We were talking about how we get porn when we were kids. And I was like, yeah, well, I didn't have internet when I was a kid. He's like, yeah, me too. He's like saying something about growing up in the 90s or whatever. And I was like, or being born in the 90s. I said, no fucking way. And he pulled out his ID, and he was born in 1992. And that's happened to me before. This was probably like 10 years ago. I was working when I was on the pipeline. This dude, we were talking about our wives, and at the time, my first wife was 6 years younger than me, and I was like, yeah, my wife is I
was trying to find a picture of this guy to show you to guess how old he is, but keep going.
So I was like, yeah,
I'm listening.
So I was probably 30. She was in her 20s at the time, and he was like, yeah, my wife is 20-something years old. 21. I was like, Jesus, dude. You're fucking robbing the cradle. And I thought that this guy was older than me.
So you were thinking he was with the real, okay.
Yeah, so I thought he was like dating, like married to a young chick. Like I thought maybe 15 years. This dude pulls out his fucking ID, and he was 22 years old. And I would have swore he was 10 years older than me at the time. I would have assumed he was in his 40s. And I went and asked people, I'm like, hey, this, whatever this kid's name was, do you know him? How old do you think he is? And I did it to probably 5 or 6 people who knew him. Every one of them was like, I don't know, like 45, 40, 35. I said, no, dude, he is fucking 22 years old. And they're like, holy shit.
Yeah, we had one. It wasn't quite that, but this salesman came up, and he's talking, and, he's keeps saying, like, comparing shit like we're the same age. And I'm like, dude, how the fuck old do you think I am?
Yeah.
And he's like, probably early to, he's like, you look younger, but just because knowing you and some stuff you talked about, I would say late 30s, early 40s. Yeah. And I said, yeah, you keep saying we're about the same fucking age. And he's like, dude, I'm 43 or 44 at the time.
So
I
he's
said,
pretty close.
I said, bullshit.
So you thought he looked younger?
No, I thought he was 55.
Oh, okay.
I was like, dude, I've lived a hard fucking life. And I wasn't trying to be mean, because he is a put together, big built dude. But just look at him; he's so gray. His face is just weathered, and he worked outside, all that shit. But so did I. Yeah. And it was just like, we don't look the same. But I said, oh really? And I didn't. All of that was internal. I just said, oh really? I would have thought you were a little older. And he does, like, instantly, because the look on my face, pulls his wallet, sits it down. I'm like,
born 1980 or whatever. Yeah.
Shit, sorry, Ray. You know, I'm like. And then from then on, when he'd say, you know, like, people would go by, like, do we look the same age? You're like, no way.
Yeah.
I'm like, thank you.
That, I mean, there.
And then I'll see some people now where I'm finally, the last year or two, really starting to look older.
Yeah, but I don't look 41. You don't look 42. My wife sure in the fuck doesn't look 41. I got, we went to dinner with the contractor and one of the other inspectors I'm working with, and we were talking like, oh, how old are you? You know, and he goes, what are you, like 37? I was like,
fuck yeah, bud.
fuck yeah.
I'll take that. I used to get that. Like, even some people will be talking, and I'll say I have a 22-year-old. And they'll
be like, did you get pregnant?
Yeah, that's what I said. The shit you do. And the one guy's like, I wouldn't guess you were more than 34 or 35. I'm like, fucking thank you, bud. I'll take that. You know, I used to want.
Like, you remember when we were kids and you're like,
oh, you've seen the parents that were in their 30s, you thought they were in their 50s.
Yeah, like everybody always does a comparison to the dude from Cocoon and Paul Rudd. They're like, you know, Paul Rudd and Richard, what's that guy's name?
I know
Richard Rumley.
Yeah, whatever.
They're the same age, and they show a picture of Paul Rudd, and he still looks like
our age or whatever. Yeah,
yeah, and they're like, look at him. It's like,
and granted, a lot of that's the Hollywood, you know, makeup and makeovers.
Oh, and they weren't eating babies and shit back then.
Yeah, and all that, but we're not. And look, you know, maybe we are descendants of it. You know, maybe our family were movie stars, and we don't know about it. Yeah, I don't know how long ago they started doing that.
And I still think, like, my dad's 61. He sure doesn't look 61, and my mom doesn't either. And but like I could remember my grandparents when they were like 50, they look like they were fucking 70-something years old. You know, it's just I don't know what it is. Maybe it's what they put in our food. I don't know.
I have 3 things on my list that we can all roll in together. And I'm gonna list the 3, and then I'm gonna show you how they all tie together. Okay.
Okay.
I worked an event this weekend doing my catering. Okay. And I worked with fake cowboys. It was one of these rich whatever things at the stockyard, and they called it a something gala. It was the Heart Spring Gala. I shouldn't
play some MacArthur.
Yeah, I shouldn't talk. Sorry, all that stuff I didn't say. But I worked an event, and all these rich people with their brand new cowboy outfits and what their version of a cowboy was awesome. Then I went to a swap meet yesterday.
Okay,
and I'm the new white Kanye. Not in crazy, but in style.
Okay.
So I've been doing this. Okay, where they all tie together is the swap meet. I got me a. Can't see it on TV. Oh man, see, I'm still not very good at this yet. And
you can see it.
I'll do a close up on it, but I got me a belt buckle because I was inspired by the Cowboy Gala, and I was walking around with it with my socks tucked in to my jeans with some freaking Hey Dudes on, and it just looked sick.
Huh.
I mean, it was different, but like it looked like something.
I do see the kids do that.
I know, that's why I'm
like leggings and stuff.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like so it's like
But I haven't seen it with jeans.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you didn't see those big giant boots that people are starting to wear until he did. You know, I'm going to try to bring, it might be one sock in, it might be, you know, I'm not a cowboy. I'm not wearing cowboy boots, but I'm going to start wearing belt buckles.
You know who you see do that is people riding bicycles. They do that.
Tuck it in. Yeah, that's common.
Only one side, just the chain side.
I did that when I rode motorcycles too sometimes.
Yeah.
Depending on what I was wearing. If I was wearing like, you know, wind pants, a lot of times I used to like to go ride my motorcycle in parachute pants because when you're riding it goes,
yeah,
you know, it felt kind of cool, like beating against your thighs and stuff. So I never did that. I just thought it would sound funny. It didn't. So can I be a belt buckle guy? You think? You've already said yes.
So.
You like the way it looks. I can do it with just. I don't know if I can't wear belt buckles with like coach pants like you're wearing though.
Yeah, well, I'm just wearing shorts, but yeah.
Would that be pushing it?
I mean, there's no loops for it.
What if I created a way to be able to start wearing belt buckles with them?
If you wore, I mean, you could just like, yeah, I think that would be I mean, you're already trying to come up with something.
Or even like khaki shorts. Could I wear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if you're like look like you're going to go golf.
I'm gonna start tucking the front end and wearing belt buckles. All right, that's my thing.
Go for it.
Tell me what your thoughts are on it, or don't.
Or don't.
Okay, last new segment idea I've had for a while. I want one of them to stick. So far, none of them are sticking. This one's going to be gross thoughts. This week, mine was I wonder how much the biggest human poop weighed, and basically because I had a big one and I was really I wanted to figure out a way like a toilet, and I think we've talked about this maybe on another show.
It'd have to
But
you
a
would
toilet
have to-
that weighs your poops.
Well, you'd have.
Would
to,
you want one?
It'd have to be dry, like there couldn't be any water.
No, but it already factors that in. The toilet,
Like-
knows the weight. It's just like a
With the
scale.
water though.
Yeah, you can zero a scale out with something already on it. So you can put a pallet on a scale that weighs 40 pounds or something
Yeah.
and zero it out.
Yeah,
so
I
you
get that.
zero the scale out with the water in. So whatever the change is in mass,
I just don't know with science.
it would work. I think we could do it.
I would.
Would
say,
you want one if I can do it?
I would say some people our size wouldn't do it, but I would imagine like Shaq or somebody like that or Charles Barkley just take.
I want to
huge,
know what
heavy
size
shits.
my poop weighs. But I just think it'd be
Heavy
fun.
shits.
But like you and your buddies then could have like a like
Be like an
they have
app.
that sex app. So like in the morning you get up and you're like, oh fuck, TJ dropped a 4-pounder this morning. What the TJ? Did you eat a human arm last night? You know?
Sometimes I do. Like if I think say I'm like, hey, I gotta go take a shit. Sometimes I'll weigh myself before I take a shit and then after and see like, whoa, that was like a 2-pound shit.
It's awesome because I'm the anti-poop guy, and this was.
because you're like, ugh.
But this just made me freaking laugh because I
For you, that would be a really gross thing because you're so skeevy about it. You wouldn't like that. Like especially if you like had to take a picture of it to send it to.
Well, that was a whole thing on the other show. They wanted to. What does this poop look like? Was what the other one was.
Yeah, I don't
And
want to see your shit.
That's
but
what
I'd
I don't
be
either.
interested to know
But it's,
how much
like I
it
said, it's
weighs.
just like I don't want to watch your sex. But with the sex app, it was cool to know that. Fuck, TJ got it 3. I was doing this comparing thing. So when we were on the sex app and you had lost it, but you didn't delete it, and then you were still logging in every time you did accidentally, 4 times this week, TJ. Congratulations. We're done. We're done with No Nut November, bud.
Yeah.
It's freaking February. You can get rid of the app.
Yeah.
And by the way, you just can stop texting. No.
Yeah.
I did have something on the real Olympics. These were stories I would have sent to Skin Man if he was here. I don't know if I'm not really going to read the story, but we'll do it.
News.
Kind of forget how to use this board when I don't do it for a while. Tech libertarians fund drug-fueled Olympics where doping is a slur. The Peter something Black sports organization that is building the Olympics of the future for athletes using steroids and other enhancers is employing a language of exclusivity, oppression, and libertarianism in its push for the acceptance of a broader athletic world.
I just think like it would be so much better if they let everybody do steroids.
That's where I talked about even like that would when the XFL was true. Of course, people were getting killed.
We do. Speaking of that, we need to pick. You need to pick a new team because
That's true. They combined them.
But my team's still there.
Okay, they combined them. I seen that, so it's going to be both. So we will bring that back, and we will be your official coverage for USFL sport. UFL.
Yeah.
They took the S out when they combined
And then-
UFL football.
Should have been like you. Yeah.
UXSFL. Too many though. Too many. You got to the XUFL.
Yeah. That'd have been sick.
But we're gonna be your official coverage for it. We will be
Should
doing.
I pick a new team?
Not if you want your team. You had a pretty good team last
We
year.
got that black kicker guy. The
Sean
TikTok-
King, the
the
new
Tik-
Sean King.
the TikTok star guy.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah,
He's
why
on
would
our
you?
team.
Yeah, no. So we'll get a
I'll
new
get his
team.
jersey.
Steve will get you a new team. Amy will get a new team. I don't think, that some of the other listeners that are new to the show, we'll all get some new teams. We'll get
Okay.
E a team and stuff, and we'll try to do picks.
Skin
So,
Man will need a team.
after all, it's your body. It should be your choice, and which is a statement we've been trying to make on this show for years, for women, for men. The organization states on their website, the so-called enhanced games have been the center of a firestorm of media coverage in recent days after announcing it had closed a multi-million-dollar seed round that included funding. So they're going. It's happening.
I'd like that.
I'd watch, dude. Could you imagine, 3 years ago, he was a 140-pound accountant, and now he's the
Now look
world
at him.
shot-putting record holder. He threw it 415 feet.
It's like that Sam. Do you know who Sam Solik is? He's that bodybuilder guy that he's super popular on YouTube and stuff, but they go back and show him like 3 years ago when he was a diver. Like, think of a diver, and now he's this fucking just gargantuan dude.
Well, the thing you guys are all going to have to also accept, they're going to accept trans athletes. We're going to,
well,
but they're going to put them in men's, women's, all the women's it's equal playing field, roid up women. If you want to outperform a trans man, fucking take more roids. That's the message we're trying to teach here at the steroid games, okay?
You started this equality shit here.
Yeah, the enhanced Olympics. We will also fund you horse tranquilizer or horse steroids, whatever you want. No, I'd freaking love it. And I think everything. I can't think of could you imagine sprinting if all of like Carl Lewis and all of them truly were taking that stuff? And I know a lot of them were, because everyone that broke a record finally got busted.
Yeah.
But like Usain Bolt, maybe has, I don't know, but could you imagine if he was allowed to fully get, of course he'd probably
he didn't have to try to hide it.
He'd be like 400 pounds, because those guys know how to take the right kind of steroids that give you like bigger leg muscles.
They basically like cycle out their blood or whatever.
The only thing I would take
doping is, right? They take out their old blood.
Well, I think that's blood cycling or blood doping. Yeah,
It'd be weird. It'd be like getting a fucking oil change. Just like, hey, let me just.
God, didn't you send me that clip? Or no, a guy at work sent me a clip of how they do, like athletes. Some do these pees. They empty their bladder completely, and then they stick new pee in their pee hole,
heard of
and
that,
then
yeah. That's what. Yeah.
But if our athletes don't have to do that in the enhanced games, there's gonna be back like. We'll have. Can you imagine fucking
baseball, like
boxing?
Yeah,
freaking that slap contest with on roids. I mean,
that
we got to come.
Ever watch any of that slap shit?
Yeah, I don't like it.
I just don't understand. Like, it's not really fair.
Why?
Because say you get to go first and you knock the guy out in the first hit, the other guy don't ever get a chance.
That's the point, man. It's just like
I think the first hit should be both at the same time.
I don't know if you could do that.
1, 2, 3, go, and you both hit.
Yeah, but I think that's just like in football. I mean, you get the first kickoff. Yeah.
But now the other team gets another chance now.
Well, yeah, you get another chance,
the
too.
thing I don't get about that, though,
listen, you got to get punched in the mouth and come back up.
The arms behind the back. Like, they should be out front, but, like, they're holding that deal, and force never fucking catches them. They always still fall down. Like, they should
Very occasionally do they, but yeah.
They should have, like,
I think they tell them not to actually catch them. Look like we're going to.
Like, up against, like, a thing that's probably, like, knee height, back of your knees. So when you fall down, you fall into, like, this net or something like that. That way they don't get hurt. I would like that.
I know he said knee high, and he wasn't saying hello to our Asian listeners.
No,
that's knee how.
He's not listening right. That's knee how, yeah. Yeah, I would think that would be. There's ways they could do that better,
dude.
Listen, Forrest never fucking catches him. He's always like, oh shit.
We'd like to put our name in now for the announcers. I can do it real good. I can do coverage like this. We can get some color commentary, and but we not. When I say that, I do not mean. It has to be.
I would definitely be a color guy. Maybe you could be the straight guy.
I think if
I'd be Pat McAfee and you could be Michael Cole.
I think I would be better at I'd be okay at that, but in certain sports, I think because even when I watch, I'm the guy that I say the Chris Collinsworth stuff or the whatever, but
Tony
cooler,
Romo.
And I say it before they say it though, because Collinsworth is supposed to be the color commentary, but I'll be like. Oh, man, they're going to have trouble coming back from that one. About 30 seconds later, be like, I'll be honest, they're having trouble coming back from that one.
Yeah, I like Chris Collinsworth, and I like Tony Romo.
I like Romo. Collinsworth, I'm not a huge fan of. Just because he gets on the D-sucking wagon of a team, and it'll go that way.
Because you don't like the Cowboys.
No, not even that. I don't like watching him call other games. So it's just those announcers that.
That's not really
part of the reason I hate Aikman is because. He seems anti-cowboy half the time when he calls.
Because he's trying not to be biased. I guess.
But Romo don't do that. He'll
because he loves him.
I know. And Aikman is like he doesn't want him to win because it's not him sometimes.
Yeah, he doesn't want. He wants to be like I'm the guy that won the Super Bowl.
In media, he always calls out and he's like the big Cowboys fan, but he just won't do it there. So it's hard, and I don't need him to be like rah rah shish kumbah. I just don't need him to be like, well, that's another reason the Cowboys suck. And even if I know it's true,
they suck.
I'm gonna have a Bob Ross mint and calm down.
How about I'll switch it up here? Okay, if you were a chick. And you had massive tits, like G cups.
Just say breasts.
Okay. get big tits, like G cups. Would you want a reduction or would you want to keep them?
Do I have back problems? Yet.
Here or there. I mean,
What do I do? Like, am I a housewife? Am I?
I don't know.
Am I
just have
working?
a normal job. It's nothing that you're like.
How attractive am I?
6.
I'm keeping them.
Like, I mean, like, it's most of your life you've been known as a chick with huge tits.
No, I don't know. If I'm having back troubles just because I'm a person with back troubles, and I know, especially as I get into my 40s and 50s, women, unless they're like the good hangers that sit against your body real well and don't like come out too much and like lean you over.
So like Robin Quivers from Howard Stern, she's a 38G. But that's kind of been her thing. Like, she's had huge tits her whole life. Like, would she, to get rid of those, it would change who she was.
Well, but if she goes down to a nice D and
basically doing that is like slapping God in the face for giving you a beautiful gift.
yeah, but that's the same thing as any woman that has anything done
So what
to
would be the
themselves.
male equivalent of it? Like, so like we can't, like, say dudes have a
Well, they have
or whatever. You can't see that through normal times. So like, what would a guy's version of that be? I would say like, be like our buddy Brian, have giant calves that everybody can see. Like, that dude's calves are fucking huge.
Yeah, but and women do kind of like that. But I don't know. Maybe ass implants. I mean, I know girls. That's not fair because girls have asses too. But it would be like having an ass reduction, maybe, because you're known for your ass. But I can't see why a big ass would really cause
Attract
you
women.
problem or cause you
Cause you problems.
some women like a big ass. That's my big ass man.
There's not really anything.
Get your big ass over here.
that dudes
I've
would
heard
have-
women say that exact thing. Not to me.
I have
That's
a big ass.
Does your girl ever say that? Get your big ass over here.
Sometimes she
Put
likes it.
that big ass on my face.
She's always like, "Your ass is so big." I'm like, "I don't know." It's just,
Becky, look at his ass.
yeah,
it's
it's so
big.
It's so black.
Are you ready for your wrestling before we run through another show and we have to do it in the last 5 minutes, or
Yeah,
did you have
let's
something else
do
to
it.
talk about?
Let's see here.
Hold on, you ready?
Do it.
That's all we can do with that.
made the list.
Well, that's right there with what I want to talk about. Are you up to date?
Ish.
Did you see this week?
No.
SmackDown.
Yes, where The Rock fucking declared his allegiance to Roman.
He acknowledged that was badass.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was
It was
because he's
bitch
like,
made.
he
I
was
love-
getting ready, he's like, if you're, and Roman just puts his hand on him. They're like, those two are like elite level.
You know what's
above other
awesome?
people as
Literally
far as
just about 2 weeks on my game, I put I have a very similar line, and I put The Rock in the bloodline, and I have my new hero, and then his backup guy or his buddy going against The Rock and Roman.
Yeah,
And
it's the storytelling that they're doing right there. I guess let me just back it
he's
up.
trying to give Roman what even this long with the title hasn't been able to do, because for whatever reason the people have not half of them have and half of them haven't.
Yeah, I
But-
mean, people are like, they want Cody to win so fucking bad because they want it off of Roman, and they like, oh, Cody deserves the title.
Well, but also
The Cody
I think they're
graphics.
trying to declare him as the best wrestler ever,
Yeah, I mean, greatest champion ever is
or
what they're- yeah.
something like that. Yeah,
I mean, Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair are the best wrestlers ever. But anyways,
not Shawn Michaels now.
so back into Rock's promo, like he's back to heel Rock, like he's coming out with the Versace shit, like looking like a total douche.
They
but just-
compared him to one of the ones he wore back in the day, and it looked almost identical to.
Yeah, but it was
his shirt-
sleeveless this time.
His shirt
yeah.
wasn't unbuttoned, but
Yeah, I mean, the problem with him is Roman is like the way his promos are kind of like Jake the Snake type shit. Like he's like kind of talking just so like he's talking his point until he gets mad and gets loud. So like Roman always does the acknowledge me shit, and he's like, Glendale, Arizona, acknowledge me, and they start booing. He's like pissed off. He's like, that's not good enough. So then he's like, Phoenix, Arizona, acknowledge me. And it still wasn't good enough. And he's like, I'm going to say this one more time. And if it's not good enough, I'm leaving. And he does it again. And he screams. Like when Roman screams,
Yeah.
like it's loud and good, And it wasn't good enough. He's like, Paul, we're leaving. fire the jet up, we're leaving. And Paul's like, my tribal chief, we can't leave. We have announcements to make. We have to stay. And then out here comes The Rock. And The Rock comes out, and, he runs everybody down out there, because they're fucking booing him and shit. And they're like, Cody, Cody, Cody. And he's like, he called him, he's like, one thing that The Rock noticed? He's like, Arizona has the most crackheads and meth heads of anywhere in the United States. And, he calls them cactus crackheads or something, like, because he's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, everything he says is funny and mean and whatever.
I like good Rock better, but that's always.
I like heel Rock.
I know.
I'm the heel, you're the face. So he runs him down, and then he said, here's what we're going to, because
that's actually our sexual preferences as well.
Yeah, I guess so.
You like heels, and I like faces.
So Cody challenged The Rock to a match, one-on-one. And The Rock's like, you want to go one-on-one with the Great One? He's like, that's not how it works. You don't get to do that. I tell you what we can do. We can have a tag match. You and your fucking walking clown emoji,
Yeah.
Seth Rollins, can go 2-on-2
Your new best
with the Great
friend,
One.
yeah.
Your new best bud.
Of course, you even seen Roman over there getting kind of agitated because he was like, and on night one, and if we win,
So this is going to set it up. I was talking to Spade about this. So they're going to go tag team match, night one.
they're going to let Cody win twice, or
No. Here's what I think is going to happen. I think Roman and Rock win night one. Okay, so that means the bloodline can be there. And did you hear what Rock said? He goes, that means Jimmy Osu can be there with the fucking, a chair or whatever he wants. He's like, Paul Heyman can do this. He's like, Solo can sing the national anthem if he wants, which is fucking hilarious. And Solo's like he was trying so hard not to laugh. But then, they were doing a Solo chant earlier, and you could just tell he was struggling, not to laugh. Kind of like back when Sammy was there, and he'd be doing all this shit.
Yeah.
And all of them would be covering their mouths up. But anyways, I think two things. These are my two predictions. One, Roman will win, and it'll just move on with the story. It'll be later in the year that they'll let Cody win.
Okay.
Or The Rock's going to fucking take down Roman, and Cody will win.
something he'll turn on him the first night,
because supposedly if douchebag Seth Rollins and Cody win, the bloodline's barred from Mania the second night. It'd just be Roman, no Paul Heyman, no nobody.
Or does it end up being like a lumberjack match if Roman and them win, and then you got Jey Uso comes out for
he said
Cody's
anything.
side.
They can do anything.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but
it should be so. Yeah.
So then the other, same with, of course, they would do it. They wouldn't have Cody bring anybody out. They'd have
they'd want
6
Cody.
guys at ringside.
They'd want Cody to win as clean as possible. But the only way I think it would be.
But that's another way to keep Cody keep people kind of happy is let him maybe look like he's going to win again and then get sabotaged.
So here's kind of what I think too. Say The Rock attacks Roman, but it saves the match for Roman. Say The Rock comes out and hits Roman with a chair, which has been over Roman's career, the historical thing when somebody's turned on him, they've hit him in the back with the chair. And then they ring the bell and Cody wins, but he don't get the title.
Yeah.
So Cody gets his fucking WrestleMania moment and he wins, but he don't get the title. And then they let Cody win. Me and Spade said this both. His whole story is that his daddy, Dusty Rhodes, won the title at Madison Square Garden and got it taken away from him. They let Cody win the title say MSG, Survivor Series or something like that. Then Roman gets the Hogan record, which is 1,400 days, which will happen in the summer. And then Cody beats him at Madison Square Garden, clean as fuck. Gets the title, gets his daddy's pride back.
Or they maybe somehow do that thing where he wins, but he got it. They're he cheated, so the win doesn't count on WrestleMania night, and the next day the title's back to Roman or something crazy. But then if
that would make them so fucking mad. But yeah, any of those scenarios would work to further along.
It is kind of cool right now because I think a year ago or whatever when I first started watching, it was super predictable.
Yeah, now it's not
and
at
right
all.
now with everything that's involved, with The Rock being involved, with Triple H, with Shawn Michaels or whatever, it's just a different feel. And even
that's what even Rock was saying. He's like, wrestling's fucking cool. He didn't say fucking. He's like, wrestling is cool
that
now.
Robert Roode or whatever is part of the writer staff and shit now too, and having how they've brought in all wrestlers to do all that shit.
And they used to, but yeah, it's definitely things are different now. And I was thinking that wrestling is cool now. Like, if you talk to somebody about wrestling, most people are like, oh, yeah, The Rock's back or whatever. You know, people know that. And
Well, and I think it got big again when you had Cena there, you had The Rock, you had, you have like guys like McAfee, who's regular part of it now,
now he
and
is, that college
that
is over.
stuff. So
One thing that Rock said was, he goes, one thing you need to be clear of, and that, when he's talking basically to Seth and Cody, he goes, I'm on the board. I'm the boss now, and I'm going to do whatever it takes for Roman to win.
We used to do a segment on here called Today in Florida Man.
Okay.
And today in Florida Man, at Florida Man games, big crowd cheers competitors evading police and wrestling over beer. They rose up by the dozens from across Florida, competitors in tank tops and cutoff shorts for a showdown that treats evading police and wrestling over beer like Olympic sports. So what if we combine this with the steroid one? We give all these freaking rednecks
Get them fucking
all
get 'em
roided
geared
out.
up
We get a month with we get to pick a redneck. See, would you rather call the steroid games or the redneck game? We have a better chance of calling the redneck games.
Probably so. It's kind of like Barstools where they do that rough and rowdy or whatever. That's kind of like our.
That's
where
we're supposed to be right now. We'll eventually get to the enhanced drug games. We could be like maybe a side pot. Like we could be the. They're gonna have the main cast, and then they'll have like the Eli and Manning cast or whatever.
Yeah,
we can be like the middle of the road cast for these.
Cut to Coach and TJ. Let's watch the ping pong fucking roided
on
up challenge.
ESPN Ocho 7. We have Coach and TJ's coverage of the Redneck Games.
Yep.
The games kicked off Saturday with a Star Spangled Banner played on an electric guitar. Then spectators. Sipping cans of beer behind metal barricades cheered and frequently shouted explicitives at dozens.
Hell yeah. That's what
It's
so
exactly
ours would be like, hey, we're here for the tractor rolling fucking tire
Yeah.
contest. Like, watch how far that son of a bitch can roll that tire.
Yeah, but in this competition, you got to drink a 12-pack. It starts out, buzzer goes off after the 12-pack.
Yep.
You start rolling. You have your family members as the pins. How
You
many
have
of
to
them can you
shotgun like 6 beers and then see how far you can throw the tire.
Yeah, like that'd be awesome. Like they have boxing, or fighting, and in between each round, you got a shotgun like 6 beers.
Yeah,
So like by
dudes are,
the
like, puking
third
and
round,
fighting.
you're like,
Yeah.
James Gordon of Delano won the first event, wolfing down a plate of loaded with barbecue pork and sausage, a fraction of his second before the nearest competitor. Yeah, he got a second one down before anybody got the first one down.
Nice.
And then he chugged a beer to celebrate. So there's a lot of Olympics out there that aren't just the clean games. So there's a lot of options coming up. What are we going to do moving forward, TJ?
With what?
With this?
With our show?
Are we going to try to do some Sunday stuff like this when
I
you're
would
in town?
like to say, like, what if I'm in town? We could try to hit up Sundays. I'm going to try to be available, at least for part of the shows if it's on a Tuesday or Wednesday.
Well, I'm feeling like inching away is Skin Man back to quitting me for a while.
Nah,
so.
he's just. I think, I'm basically. I have 2 jobs now, and
I got 4. We don't got to compare. I make less at my 4 than you make at half of one, but
I don't know about that, but yeah, I think keep on. We just try. I mean, I know it doesn't always work out Tuesdays or Wednesdays, but if I'm in town on a Sunday, I'd like to come in here and do a morning style show.
it's a different energy, but it's cleaner. I won't drink as much.
Yeah, 'cause it's early.
Yeah, I might sometimes, but I went to that event, that swap meet yesterday, and I got there at 9, and there was a line at the bar. There was everybody walking around
9
drinking.
o'clock?
Yeah, 10 o'clock, 11 people were all drinking. I mean, it was
Was there guns? No guns?
no guns at this one.
Knives?
Yeah, quite a few knives. It was all, I mean, there was some cool shit, a bunch of tools.
Did you see any Ninja Turtles?
There was a Ninja Turtle, like, fashioned metal air cover for a car.
That's kind of sick.
I didn't see there was a couple old toys, a lot of Hot Wheels, a lot of cars.
You did get a Hot Wheel, right?
Yeah, I got a Hot Wheel. I got my favorite Batmobile. You can't see it there. I'll take a picture of it. It's the original Batmobile from the original movie and the series from the 50s and 60s.
I think Michael Keaton's Batmobile is my favorite.
Michael Keaton's my favorite Batman,
He is
probably.
yeah.
But I don't know if his is my favorite of the modern Batmobiles for sure.
Yeah.
That the Hummer one was cool just
Yeah.
because, but it was so anti-Batman. It was the un-Batmobile. It just was so different.
So outside of him, Michael Keaton, who do you think's the next best? Batman?
Nobody likes this one, but Val Kilmer is one of my favorite
Yeah.
Batman.
I don't
think
mind,
because I think
Ben Affleck as Batman.
I didn't like it. He's probably my least favorite one. Actually,
Robert Pattinson's the worst Batman.
I never watched that one because
It's
of that.
weird.
I'm not watching the Twilight Batman. I actually like the Superman that plays in the Superman vs. Batman is probably my favorite modern Superman.
Who's that?
The same one that's in.
Oh, the regular, yeah.
Yeah,
But Henry Cavill.
yeah, whatever. But he's been the best one of the
Yeah.
ones that they've tried over the
If it
years.
was- yeah, I just wish it would have been Clark.
Yeah, well, I wish it would have been my version of him. I like the new Superman.
Well, he's also a werewolf too. So
Who, Lois Superman?
yeah,
Oh, is he?
yeah, he was on Teen Wolf.
Oh, that's right.
He was the werewolf.
So I got me a sweet gear shifter. I'm pretty happy about that. I'm building my car around it. So and then the belt buckle guy. You guys tell me if I can be a belt buckle guy.
I would assume so.
That's the only thing I really want to take away from the show. It's the only reason I agreed to do this show today is to
So you
find
can
out.
show your belt buckle off.
Well, and to see if people tell me, can I be a belt buckle guy? I don't have nothing else other than I was scrolling through an ad somehow. I send you every once in a while these two dudes that go to like Trump rallies and they act like they're Trumpers, but they'll say stuff that makes them look like idiots and get them to agree. Well, it spanned to this other thing that was like the opposite of that. It was these guys that go to Trump rallies trying to really hype them up, and the guy was saying that we need our white George Floyd. They need somebody to rally around, and he kept saying, we need our white George Floyd.
Yeah.
And it's horrible, but again, it was kind of like bringing color back to a picture. It made me chuckle.
Yeah.
So we don't need our white George. Well, I don't know. Do you?
Nah.
I think there's already enough rallying call. It was a weird show. It was a great show. It was a fun show. It was a Sunday morning show. Maybe we'll call this the Church with TJ and K. No, we won't do that. We'll lose a lot. So what are we going to go out with?
Alex Jones. Please.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Boobies aren't things that give you milk. Boobies are things that kill you. I will eat your ass. I'm here to date your 6-year-old. What do you think tap water is? It's a gay bomb, baby. I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that?
That was perfect.
Freaking
I was
nailed
behind
it.
a guy at Dylan.